Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Nate Denise for those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video. And today's video is going to be my October book haul. And I didn't realize how many books I had, and I'm probably still missing more books, but I am terrible at remembering the books that I received once I read them. So I think starting this month of November, I'm going to keep track of all the books that come in. That way when it's time to do this book haul, I'll know which books are from where. But we're going to dive into this. So I have a bunch of books that were sent to me, books that I paid for, and we're going to dive into the books that I paid for. Starting off with Book of the Month Book Club. So I am a part of Book of the Month YA as well as regular Book of the Month. I did unboxings for both of these, so you can click the eye on the screen to watch the Book of the Month unboxing, but I'm going to quickly run through those books that I got. So the first book I got in Book of the Month was the Book of the Month for October, and that was Fate of the Fallen by Kade, and it's fantasy, and this is sort of a fantasy that is based on the trope of the chosen one, but it kind of flips it upside down on its head from what I've heard. It's a really short book. I'm excited to dive into this. This is the first in a new series written by her, and I initially thought Kade was a guy, but then I watched someone else's video and realized that it's a girl. But I'm excited to dive into this. So yeah, it's called the Shroud of Prophecy series, and the series before this was the King's Dark Tidings series. So I'm excited. It says, for men to rise, heroes must fall, and it just looks and sounds amazing. So we have this. The next Book of the Month book I have was Descendant of the Crane by Joan, and this is basically a YA fantasy based off of Chinese, I'm gonna say folklore, probably not folklore, but I know that this has fantasy aspects, magic, and some political intrigue, so I'm interested in diving into this. The last one I had is going to be Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the first book in the Harbingers trilogy, I believe. This is based off of the Dark Elements, or it's kind of a spin-off of the Dark Elements with White Hot Kiss, and I'm excited to dive into this, but I do want to reread White Hot Kiss first and the entire Dark Elements trilogy before I dive into this, because this is definitely a spin-off, and it deals with our warden Zane, and I'm so excited to just have Zane back in my life. So we're gonna read this. Then I have my Book of the Month YA books. I have 3 books. I have signed up for Book of the Month YA affiliate program, so I do have a code down below you guys can check out. But these books are actually like paid for with my own money. I got these prior to signing up as an affiliate, so I paid for these with my own money, and I got 3 books because when it comes to Book of the Month, I never just buy one book, like ever. I always go with 3, just because why not? And the first one is going to be Fireborne by Rosaria Munda. This is a YA fantasy that deals with dragon riders and dragons, and yep, I'm excited. I heard that this is kind of a mashup of Game of Thrones and, is it Red Rising? I think that's what I heard. I'm not sure if that's quite true. I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a mashup of Red Rising with Game of Thrones. But yeah, sounds interesting. We have this one. The next book I got was one that is very controversial here on YouTube because a lot of people don't like it. I know that Peruse Project enjoyed it, and I also know that Books with Chloe enjoyed it, and I just love the cover, so I requested it anyway to read. And that is going to be Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This is based off of, it's Korean-based fantasy, and it's about Gumios, which are 9-tailed foxes. I'm here for a 9-tailed fox. I love it. The cover is what sold me. I love the colors. I'm a sucker for anything lavender, pink, and purple. Just saying. So we have that. The last book I got is one that I don't even know why I got it, honestly. I think because the cover is gorgeous, and I need to actually get the first book, but it's going to be from Rainbow Rowell, and that's going to be Wayward Son. This is the second book in the Simon Snow trilogy. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or a series. The first book is Carry On, and both are based off of a story that was written inside of Fangirl. I read Fangirl, gave it 4 stars. I have not read Carry On or this, obviously. I am going to reread Fangirl first and then get my hands on a copy of Carry On before diving into this. Okay, so now moving on to the next few books. The next 2 books are going to be books that I actually got from Dollar Tree. If you guys don't know, I used to do a lot of book hauls where I got books from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree really has some great books. It just depends on the Dollar Tree around you. I live near one, and then I have another Dollar Tree that I can just go to. And anytime I'm in New York or we stop at a Dollar Tree, I always browse the book section. You just have to. I don't know much about any of these books. I just know they sounded great. I looked on Goodreads. They were over 3-star ratings, so I just got them. Covers were what sold me. This one is A Map for Wrecked Girls by Jessica Taylor. I'm going to assume this is a contemporary just because it has to do with two sisters and something that happens over the summer. Yeah, like, it's like two sisters, they get stranded on an island, I think. Yeah, they get stranded on an island with some boy, and something happens between the two sisters. I'm gonna assume it's contemporary with a little bit of, like, suspense thriller, but this cover is gorgeous, and without the dust jacket, I love the cover of the book. So yeah, like I said, I don't really know what the genre for this is, but it sounds amazing. You know what? I can actually look at the copyright section. This is just says fiction, so I'm gonna assume it's contemporary. So we have that. The next book I have that I got from Dollar Tree is a fantasy. I know that it's fantasy because the cover just looks fantasy-esque. And I did look up the information for this. It's called The Waking Land by Callie Bates. All she is loyal to, she must now destroy. And this is what it looks like. It's interesting. It sounded really good. I know that Terry Brooks blurbed it, Tamora Pierce blurbed it, Charlene Harris blurbed it, and that's why I requested it. And then it said it's a cross between Brandon Sanderson and Pierce Brown. I don't know how true that is, but it says Lady Elena is fiercely devoted to the king, who raised her like a daughter, but the king dies under mysterious circumstances. She's accused of his murder, and she returns to the homeland of magical legend she has forsaken, and she's a force to be reckoned with. She's branded as a traitor, her father's estranged, and pretty much she has to figure out what happened. It sounds cool. Magic's involved. I figured I would give it a go. I only paid $1 for this. This book is normally $27. I paid $1, so no skin off my back. So we got this, and I really love this cover. If you guys can see that cover is really gorgeous. I love the color, so we have that one. Okay, so the next set of books, I got 6 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 books. And I went to a thrift store called Red, White, and Blue in my Beyonce's sort of town. I've gone to Goodwill by him before and got some books from there previously, but I wanted to go to another thrift store and find out if they had books, so I found this one online. It's called Red, White, and Blue. They have it all throughout some of the states. I'll leave the website down below. And I said, you know what, let me go see if they had some books, because I was feeling down and really wasn't into it. And I pretty much scored. They had a lot of books that I really, really wanted, and I most likely will go back. But yeah, the book that I paid the most for was $4, and the cheapest book I paid for was $1. So the first book I got is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, and I heard a lot of people raved about this. It's middle grade, so I figured I would give it a go, and I love how reflective the cover is. You guys can see, and you guys can see how much I paid for it. I paid $1.99. Why not? And it just looks like it's gonna be a really cute, fun read. And I did just finish The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and I actually enjoyed that book a lot more than I thought I would, so I figured another middle grade would be great for me to dive into. And this one has the John Newbery Medal, or the, I don't know how to read that, but it has an award as a children's book. Yep. So I need to take all these stickers off, but I kept them on so that I can do this video. So I'm gonna have to take all these little stickers off, but I did pay $2 for this book, so not bad. The next book is a book that I had on my TBR for forever. I've been wanting to read this book. It's only a duology, and I don't know why. I own the ebooks, just haven't gotten around to reading it, and when I saw it, I said, it's fate, I need to read it. Probably should have read this in October, because it's definitely a Halloween story, but I didn't. I paid $1 for this book. And it's Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. Yeah, I've been meaning to read this for the longest since it came out. Since I started BookTube, I think, 2014, when I started getting back into reading, 2013, I've been meaning to read this book. When did this book come out? 2011, yeah. I've been meaning to read this since 2014, from what I remember. So, it's been years. I saw this, I figured I would give it a go, and then I do have the copy of the second book on ebook, so yes. And this just has to do, it says, just your average boy meets girl, girl kills people story. So, kind of sounds like Carrie to me, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna give it a go. The next book I have is from Fredrik Backman, and that is going to be Beartown. I don't know much about this book. I know that it's contemporary, and I got it because I actually am enjoying his writing. I have read My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You I'm Sorry. I think that's how you say that title. But it was so comical. I actually have a copy up there. So when I saw this, I figured I would give this one a go as well, since I enjoyed that one. I know that he has A Man Called Ove and I think it's over op, I don't know. And then he has Britt Marie Was Here, plus the other book, which I'm going to haul in soon for you guys. But I'm excited to dive into more of his books. And again, I paid $3 for this, and I know that it's adult contemporary. Next, I got a book that I had before. I had a hardcover of this book, and I actually need to get that book back. But I had a hardcover that was sent to me when the book officially, like, originally came out years ago. And I let my sis hold it to read, and that is going to be You by Caroline Kepnes. But I saw this copy there, so I figured I would get this one. It definitely has that creepy kind of look. The one that I had was a hardcover that had, like, blood stains on it. It was, like, a weird cover. It was really nice though, so I think I want to get that copy back. But I did end up getting another copy of this book. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with You. The show, love it. The book, I could not stand it, so I think I'm gonna give the book another go and reread it. But I paid $3 for this book as well, $2.99. So we have that. Then I have The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg, Larsson, and that's because I bought The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo at my local library's book sale. Click the eye on the screen if you want to see that haul. I hauled all the books that I got from my local library when they had their October fall book sale, but I got the sequel, and I'm super stoked because I really did love the movie to this. This movie was, like, amazing for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I really want to read the books and read the entire series. So I saw the sequel, grabbed it, and we're just gonna call it a day. I know that this is adult thriller, suspense, mystery. To me, suspense, thriller, and mystery all go together in one category, so it's a combination of all that. A lot of action, lots of assassination attempts, if I'm not mistaken, but crime, all that great stuff. This has deckled edges, and I'm just excited. This one deals with sex trafficking, so yeah, I am so stoked to see how this continues on after I done watched the movie. But I'm gonna reread the book and then dive into this. And I got the first book, like I said, from a local library book sale. So, yeah. The next book I found, I was so excited to find. This definitely came from Barnes & Noble, as you can tell, because it has a 20% off, plus the members 10% off coupon on it. Oh, and I did not mention, I paid $3 for this as well. $2.99, okay? For The Girl Who Played with Fire. But this one, I was so stoked because I love this series. I have the first book right here that I got from my local library. Now I got the sequel, and that's going to be Shadow of Night, which is book 2 in the Discovery of Witches. And oh my god, I think that's what the series is called. But I have Shadow of Night, and it's the sequel. And I loved season 1, okay, of Discovery of Witches, and I loved the first book. So I finally have the second book, hardcover. Oh my god, I'm so excited. And I love this cover. Like, you're not gonna be able to see it because of my ring light, but this is, like, freaking amazing. I'm so stoked to dive into this, and over 500 pages. We love. But I think I'm going to reread the first book, even though I still remember what happened. I think I'm going to reread the first book, watch the show, and then when the second season is about to come out, I'll read the sequel. And I love the end page on this. Gorgeous. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous on the front. And the spine is a little, you know, bent up and messed up, but it doesn't bother me. It's a secondhand, you know, type of used book, so it doesn't bother me, but I mean, no pages are falling out, so I'm here for it. Okay, so the next book I got is from Fredrik Backman again, and it's Us Against You. I don't know anything about this either. I just know that it's adult contemporary, and I like his writing, so I got it. Okay, so all the rest of these books were sent to me for review. Some of them I have already read for blog tours already, so I will have my written reviews linked down below if I have one. But the first one is going to be A Monster Like Me by Wendy S. Swore. This is going to be classified as middle grade contemporary magical realism in a sense. And this one I am going to be reading this month. It sort of deals with a young girl who has a sort of, I think it's called a blood tumor on her face. And she uses the idea of monsters and witches and things to kind of cope with that, and she feels like because of this mark on her face she's a monster, and that her mother doesn't love her and things like that. So it sounds like it's going to be a heart-gripping story. I'm not prepared for it, but I will be reading it, and I'm excited. So we have this, and I know that some of the events in this book are real to the author herself, so yes. And I forgot to mention, all of these books I'm about to mention is from Shadow Mountain Press. I don't remember if I said that. So the first one, A Monster Like Me, was from Shadow Mountain Press, and the next four are also going to be from the same publishing company. So we then have The Last Man at the End by R. William Bennett. I already read this one. This is historical biblical fiction about a guy named Simon who's mentioned in the Bible to have helped Jesus carry the cross to his crucifixion. This was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I talked about it in my wrap-up, so just watch my wrap-up if you guys want to hear me, like, gush about the story. But we have this book. The next one I have from Shadow Mountain Press is going to be Glass Slippers Ever After and Me by Julie Wright. This is a reimagining of Cinderella. I read this book. I enjoyed it. I talk about it in my wrap-up, so we're just going to move on. The next book is going to be by Josie S. Kilpack, and that is going to be The Candy Cane Caper. This is sort of a mix of a contemporary and a mystery. Some Christmas ornaments go missing, and this cop... Oh, is she a cop or a detective? Detective. She goes on search for it, but she's also a culinary wizard. She likes cooking. I enjoyed this book enough just because it had recipes and in it like that. So definitely some recipes I do want to try for myself. It's mystery. It was okay. That's all I'm gonna say about this book. So if you want to know more, just watch my wrap up. The last book I got from Shadow Mountain Press is going to be Dragon Watch, The Master of the Phantom Isle. This is book 3. It's called Master of the Phantom Isle, but it's book 3 in Dragon Watch series, a part of the Fable Haven kind of world by Brandon Mall. I adored this. This was so good. It's middle grade fantasy, just everything that you can need in a middle grade fantasy. It's definitely a step below sort of Percy Jackson and all that. I love this series so much. I have read the first 2 books, read the 3rd book. I am excited with the continuation on with the series because I'm obsessed with Seth and Kendra. I raved about it again in my wrap-up, so watch it. But we have this book here. The next book I have for you guys, this is not from Shadow Mountain Press. This is just from a different publication. The publisher for this is Pelican Book Group, but this is called Sojourner by Jonathan Boygett. This is book 3 in the Tales of Fae Raven series. This is a Christian fantasy. So awesome. Loving the series. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely recommend this. Next book I got was Dread Pirate Arcanist by Shami Stovall. And I know in my wrap-up I kept saying Dread Pirate, but it's Dread Pirate Arcanist. And this is a fantasy kind of series, which I am totally loving. The first one I actually do own is, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's called Nightmare Arcanist. Actually, it's this book right here. Nightmare Arcanist, so good. And this one just kind of picks up after that, and I love it. It deals with pirates and psycho pirates with magical abilities. Yeah, give me that any day, anytime, and I fell in love. So, yeah. The next book I got in a book box from Jean Book Nerd, which I do have that book box video coming soon. It actually should already be up prior to this video, so just click the eye on the screen to watch that. But it's The Night Weaver by Monique Snyman. This is definitely a horror-esque story, and the cover is creepy. You guys will have seen if you watched my Jean Book Nerd Halloween edition unboxing. Creepy to me because of all of these flies. If you guys don't know what I mean, zoom in. All those flies creeps me out, but this definitely is more of a horror-esque book in my opinion, and it sounds really creepy. I just know that some kids go missing and the graveyard starts stirring, and the 17-year-old girl tries to figure out what's going on. That's all I know. And it has to do with, like, some creepy creatures in a forest. Yeah. So, it's a graveyard in the forest. Creepy creatures start to stir again. And when children go missing, nobody does anything about it. If that doesn't sound creepy enough, then I don't know what is. So, yeah. The next book I have is historical fiction romance. And I really don't do historical fiction romance. Historical romance. I don't know why I'm saying historical fiction romance. I don't do historical fiction. I don't do historical romance. If I do historical fiction, it has to be like biblical based, or it has to be by Philippa Gregory because I love her writing. But I requested this book for a blog tour because it sounded really good, and not gonna lie, the cover sold me. This dress is everything and more. It's called A Lady's Past by A.S. Bennett, and it's a part of the Everton Domestic Society. It's a small book. Don't know much about it. Just know that it's historical, romance, Regency kind of era. That's all I know. So yeah, I'm terrible, if you guys haven't noticed, at explaining books. So, terrible booktuber. I know. But we have this book, and again, this cover is everything and more to me, if you guys can see. It says, the greatest risk for the sweetest reward. His fiance's betrayal nearly cost Jacques, I think that's how you say that, Laurent, everything. Despite his resolve not to trust anyone again, he can't abandon the young woman he finds alone on the road to London. Her name is Diana, and I guess it's just the two of them coming to mutual desires, and falling in love, pretty much. So, I'm excited to dive into this. The next book I have is fantasy, and it's going to be Witchwood and Seabound by Ethan Proud. This is a monster of a book, very thick. How many pages is this book? See, it's almost 500 pages, but it doesn't seem like it's like, I don't know, I guess because the paper is super thick. I think that's what it is. Maybe the paper is really thick, but this sounds like it's interesting. Not gonna lie, that cover is creepy. It creeps me out. But it says, a series of unexplainable murders sweeps the North Gate. Sheriff Brookstead seeks an unlikely ally in a witch, and it's basically this witch and the sheriff working together to figure things out. The witch also seeks help, I think, from demons, and it causes a whole bunch of drama, and it sounds like it's going to be a good read, so we have this. The next book is one I'm going to be reading this month, and it's called The Shaft by Scott B. Delaney. This is a supernatural thriller, so it is based in Christianity, and it sounds like it's going to be interesting. From what I can remember, because I always botch this, but from what I can remember, there is, in this world, this happens in December 2017, where the word of God is being spread widely, and you have a secret society of pharmaceutical people, as well as scientists, who have an objective to thwart their spreading of the gospel, and in doing so, there is an assassin that goes killing Christians, and it sounds epic. The FBI is involved, and I'm super excited to dive into this. I'm trying to explain this the best way that I can, but that's what I remember without me having to read the synopsis. It sounds good, sounds epic, so excited to dive into this soon. Okay, so these last set of books are going to be books that are from well-known publishing companies, if that makes sense. The other ones were from, like, private publishing companies. These are going to be from, like, Harper Teen and things like that. So this first one is from Thomas Nelson. I read this. I loved it. Oh, my God. I have to rave and do a review on this because this book was amazing. And it's going to be Coral by Sarah Ella. This is a reimagining of The Little Mermaid. This is, they call it YA fantasy, but I'm going to say it's more of contemporary magical realism. But I can't explain it without spoiling. Oh my God, I have to gush and make a video. So I'm going to make a video about this. I read this book. I totally loved it. It's The Little Mermaid, basically reimagined, while it's also talking about suicide, depression, and mental illness. And this book does such a phenomenal job. Just blows my mind with how it did with this book. This book comes out November 12th. I highly recommend people pick this up. This book was really, really good. I totally enjoyed this book. I already have my review posted on my blog, so you guys can check that out. But this, oh God, this book is so good. So good, so good. Review is coming soon on this book, because I literally enjoyed this book because I could relate to it so much. But great read. The next two books are going to be from Bethany House Publishers. Bethany House, if that's how you say it? Yes, Bethany House Publishers. And they're both based on Christianity. So the first one is going to be a Christian suspense, or romantic suspense, if you will. It's called Deadly Deceit by Natalie Walters. This is book 2 in the Harvard Secrets series. I'm not sure if it's a series or a trilogy, but it's suspense with romance, and it sounds like it's going to be good. It's based off of a journalist and finding out what happened to her boss as he has died, but it's under some suspicious circumstances, so she goes to figure that out, and she ends up working with a deputy to also figure that out. And I'm pretty sure a romance happens between the two of them. So I don't do a lot of thrillers. I'm trying to build my thrillers, so I figured I would start reading more Christian-based thrillers first to kind of ease my way into thrillers and suspense novels. So we have this, and the cover is actually really nice. I love the cover of the first book, which is Living Lies. I'll throw that cover up here. That cover is gorgeous. But yeah, we have that. The next one is going to be biblical fiction, also from Bethany House, and it's called The End of the Magi by Patrick W. Carr. This book, from what I can remember, is based on the prophet Daniel, when he selected a group of men to build and make a calendar around the time that the Messiah would arrive, and it follows one of those Magi's, which his name is Myrad, and his journey. I'm excited to dive into this. I don't know much about the Magi. Let me know how you guys pronounce it. I enjoy watching animes based off of Magi, but I've never really learned about them in a biblical sense, so I'm super, super excited to dive into this, and this cover is, like, gorgeous. I love the backdrop with the sky, and just gorgeous. The next book I got is from Candlewick Press, and this is The Rift by Rachel Craw. I talked about this in my October wrap-up. This is YA, fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian. It's like a whole blended mix. Yeah, watch my wrap-up. The next book is from Blank, and this is going to be The Memory Thief by Lauren Mancy. And this is YA fantasy. Is really good. Definitely an intriguing story. It's based off of currency being memories, and you would give your memories away as a way to pay for things. And if you're sentenced to death, they basically rip all of your memories out of you. They kill you with your worst memory, and they sell your memories to other people. There is a sort of magical element in which you have some people that are normal human beings. You have some people that can steal your memories by touch, some people that can steal your memories by looking at you. It's definitely an interesting society, interesting kind of world building concept and magic system. So I'm definitely going to reread this myself again, just because I don't know, I'm just gonna reread it. Just leave it at that. Watch my wrap up. I talked about this in my October wrap up video. So we have this book. The next 2 books are going to be from Torteen, and the first one is going to be Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. This is a YA fantasy set with a Western feel. I love this. The main character is a woman of color, girl of color, she black, whatever you want to call it. I love this. Like, oh god, I have no words, you guys. This was really good. I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5 star rating. But I enjoyed it enough to want to continue on with the series. That ending kind of like ripped me out. It follows 5 girls named Esther, which is, I believe, the main character you see here. Clementine, which is her sister. You have Violet, Malo, and Tansy. There is a little bit of a lesbian romance in this, but it was so cute. There is another character in here named Z. He's a guy that they meet, sort of a ranger kind of dude. And it was interesting enough that I want to read it and know more about this world and just dive into it again. So we have this, and this was an arc that I received, so I enjoyed this. The next book I have is going to be 1,000 Fires by Shannon Price. This is a YA contemporary retelling of the Iliad, which she does a whole introduction about this. This book does deal with violence and gun violence and gangs and things like that, but she doesn't promote it. It was just her doing a kind of spin or reimagining of the Iliad, and it follows Valerie Simmons, who basically has to pick between a gang to avenge her brother's death, but she gets picked up from another gang, and it just sounds interesting, and she's caught between avenging her brother's death or her new love. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be diving into this today, and yeah, I like the cover. The cover is really pretty. And there's a stag on here because one of the rival gangs is called Stags, and I believe that's the gang that picks her up. So we have this. Next, I have 2 books from Harper Teen. The first one is going to be The Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeko. This is YA fantasy, and oh my word, this was interesting to say the least. This I got for a blog tour, and this book was so good. It does have a lesbian romance. There's 2 romances within this story. It deals with 2 I think they're twin goddesses, 2 different sides of the world. The world stopped spinning because of something that happened with their mothers a long time ago, which caused the world to stop spinning and caused a breaking between the worlds, which then caused the abyss, which the abyss has nothing but darkness. And one sister, her name is Haiti, and she is from the Golden City, which is stuck in eternal heat, and they are dying. And then you have Odessa, which is stuck in eternal dark and cold, and they're dying as well. So it's really funny. I enjoy this. I love Tianlan, or I think that's how you say her name, but I'm gonna say Lan for short. She is very funny. There's another character named Arjun in this. Romances, comical, fantasy, love it, amazing. Read it. Definitely recommend you read it. The next one I have not read yet, but I will be reading this month, and it's called The How and the Why by Cynthia Hand. A lot of people rave about Cynthia Hand. I have not read. I think I read one of her books, but then I never continued, but I did enjoy her writing. This is YA and contemporary, and this one is more so on a more emotional kind of level because it deals with a young girl that is adopted, and she wants to know more about her birth mother. So it kind of goes back and forth between the present with the little girl, or the young girl, reading letters from her mother on, I guess, her life, and then it goes back to the past with the mother writing letters to her daughter before she gave birth. It sounds like it's going to be an epic read, and I'm super, super excited to get into this. The next 3 books are going to be from Blackstone Publishing, and I did an unboxing with my Book of the Month YA book, so you can just click the I to go watch that unboxing, but it's going to be on the first 3 books of the House of Night Otherworld series, which is Loved by PC Cast and Kirsten Cast, Lost, which is the 2nd book, and Forgotten, which is the 3rd book. I do have a hard copy of this book, and let me just say, I am a sucker for this book because this cover is stunning. Look at it. Look at it. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. And the covers itself is just, I love how they put detail into their book covers. But quick kind of synopsis on this series. It is a spin-off series to the House of Night series by PC Cast and Kirsten Cast, which I believe is a 13-book series. The first book is called Marked. I have not read that series, but I was able to dive into this easily without having read that because they do an introduction at the beginning of Loved. So it's pretty easy to kind of flow if you haven't read the first 13 books in the first series. But it is a YA, they call it paranormal fantasy, paranormal romance fantasy. I'm classifying it as urban fantasy just because it takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I figure it's like urban fantasy, but it's definitely heavy with the fantasy. I love it. It deals with demons. It deals with, you know, good versus evil. It's really fun, really fast-paced, really comical, and I enjoy it so much. So I have all 3 books, and these were sent to me, like I said, from Blackstone Publishing. But that is it, you guys. I'm low-key terrible at these hauls just because I have way too many books, and it's kind of hard to like read all of the synopsises for these books. So I think the next time I do my haul, probably in November, I'm gonna separate it, you know, do like a video specifically for my review books and then do a video for like the books that I purchased or something like that, because I have way too many books to be doing this. This video, as I'm recording it, is 41 minutes long. I'm not sure how long it's going to be once I edit it down, but while I was making this video, I did get a lovely package in the mail from Book of the Month. And I have 3 more packages from Book of the Month that I'm waiting on. So I will have my Book of the Month unboxings coming really, really soon, which I am stoked about. So that is it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe. If you are, click the bell to stay notified. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.